Good morning, evening, or night, wherever you are. Welcome to WHAM Today. Take a deep breath, clear your mind, and let's drift through the whispers of today's world, one quiet thought at a time, as we wrap up Sunday, 13th April 2025. Let's see what stories are unfolding around us. The ongoing trade war between the United States and China, marked by tariffs of 145% and 125% respectively, is creating difficult conditions for businesses. Despite the U.S. granting tariff exemptions on smartphones and computers, China seeks the complete removal of all tariffs. Businesses fear irreversible damage from the trade war and US tariff policy. Amidst these challenges, China's Alibaba's Quark has surpassed Douban and DeepSeek to lead as the nation's top AI application. Quark evolved from cloud storage into an AI assistant. China's Brewed is also powering South Africa's inaugural large-scale electric bus fleet. Shifting focus, Apple India is now producing $22 billion worth of iPhones, signaling a production shift away from China. Facing trade challenges, China and the EU are actively seeking new trade partners. Concerns are rising that Europe could become a dumping ground for inexpensive goods. United States trade policies under the Trump administration, marked by tariffs, continue to send ripples across the global economy. These tariffs, presented as a means to eliminate trade deficits, are seen by some as disproportionately harsh, particularly towards China, where the U.S. tariff rate on imports has risen to 125%. Although Trump paused tariffs on most countries for 90 days amidst a global market crisis, the trade war with China persists, creating economic uncertainty. These policies have sparked boycott campaigns against American products and contributed to stock market volatility, generating concern among investors about a potential global economic slump. The Trump administration also extended the deadline for a deal concerning TikTok's U.S. operations, a Chinese video app with 170 million US users, raising national security concerns. Despite global trends toward phasing out coal, President Trump has expressed interest in boosting its production, raising environmental concerns. China is facing increased economic pressure due to the escalating trade war with the United States, fueled by rising tariffs, potentially leading to a decoupling of the two economies. The U.S. tariff rate on Chinese imports has risen to 125%. China's video app TikTok faces high stakes as the Trump administration extends the deadline for a deal to drive TikTok into American hands. European Union nations are anticipating a 20% levy on all goods exported to the U.S. as a result of President Trump's trade policies. However, the EU has paused planned retaliatory tariffs on nearly €21 billion of US goods while seeking a deal with the Trump administration. Australia is seeing positive developments for its fruit producers, who are anticipating market access for avocados after years of lobbying and enduring a costly trade war that impacted exports. In domestic news, Australian parties are launching campaigns focused on housing and tax cuts. Turkey's businesses are aiming to capitalize on comparatively lenient US tariffs to enhance their visibility and increase exports. India's resilient economy offers attractive investment opportunities, showcasing double-digit earnings growth and high return on equity, ROE, with Centrum favoring the BFSI, hospitality, and auto sectors. Private equity investment in Indian real estate reached USD $748 million in Q1 2025, marking a 35% year-on-year increase. Despite global uncertainty and trade tensions, the Nifty 50 is projected to test the 22,900 level. After rebounding from its March lows, the Nifty 50 is currently testing its 20-day exponential moving average, DMA around 22,900. However, foreign investors withdrew York 30-1575 crawl from Indian equity markets in April due to global tariff turbulence, potentially delaying a full return to market normalcy. India's limited export exposure to the U.S. offers some stability amidst these global headwinds. Factors influencing the Indian stock market this week include Q4 results, retail inflation data, potential tariffs led by Donald Trump, foreign fund flow, and global cues. Sumit Bagadia recommends purchasing Motherson Sumi, Wiring India, NBCC, and Suzlon Energy under Yoga 100. The Indian stock markets will be closed on April 14 for Ambedkar Jayanti 2025. Japan's government desires a stronger yen, hoping to stabilize its economy. Concerns linger about potential trade friction with the United States. However, Japan will not sell its holdings of U.S. Treasury bonds in retaliation for tariffs. This decision aims to maintain stable financial relations despite trade disagreements. Ukraine continues to grapple with ongoing conflict, despite a tentative agreement between Moscow and Kyiv for a limited 30-day ceasefire. Both sides have accused each other of violating the agreement almost immediately after it was established. The situation remains tense, with no clear path towards a lasting resolution. The Trump administration acknowledged that a Maryland man was mistakenly deported to El Salvador last month. He is currently held in a prison known for harsh conditions. Turning to Canada, the government is facing increasing pressure to address rising inflation. Consumer prices have continued to climb, impacting household budgets across the country. Policymakers are considering various measures to curb inflation, including potential interest rate adjustment. In China, recent economic data indicates a slowdown in manufacturing activity. This has raised concerns about the country's growth trajectory. The government is reportedly exploring new stimulus measures to boost the economy. Moving to France, President Macron is grappling with ongoing protests over pension reforms. Demonstrations have continued, despite government efforts to quell dissent. Negotiations with labor unions are ongoing to find a resolution. Iran and the United States have agreed to extend talks and will hold further negotiations next week concerning Tehran's rapidly advancing nuclear program. These discussions aim to break the deadlock over the program and ease tensions with the U.S., which has spurred a rebound in Iran's currency and stock markets. Turning to Canada, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is facing increasing pressure to address rising housing costs. Opposition parties are calling for immediate action to curb speculation and increase affordability for first-time homebuyers. The government is reportedly considering several measures, including stricter regulations on foreign investment in real estate and increased incentives for new construction. In the latest from China, the government has announced new measures to support its slowing economy. These include targeted tax cuts for small businesses and increased infrastructure spending. The moves aim to boost domestic demand and offset the impact of ongoing trade tensions with the United States. France is navigating a path toward greater independence in European defense, capitalizing on its well-established military manufacturing base, though obstacles persist. To hit its deficit goals by 2026, the nation must find €40 billion in cost reductions. Meanwhile, the United States and China are locked in an intensifying tariff conflict, with technology shares under scrutiny after a tariff exemption on consumer electronics. Investors are carefully analyzing economic indicators amidst this trade tension. Despite global anxiety stemming from potential tariffs from the United States, Mexico is actively pursuing exemptions, especially for its automotive sector, in hopes of lessening the impact of the ongoing trade dispute. Turkey's automotive production fell by 8.7% in the first quarter. Furthermore, government sources confirm that the country experienced its most severe cold spell since 2014. Top shots. The United Kingdom is becoming more wary of Chinese investment, particularly after the bailout of a steel manufacturer. In South Africa, the African National Congress (ANC) has reportedly abandoned its proposal to raise the value-added tax by 0.5%. Somalia has approved a permit for Elon Musk's Starlink to provide services within the country. Brazil's President Jair Bolsonaro has undergone another abdominal surgical procedure. Tragically, the number of fatalities from the club roof collapse in the Dominican Republic has reached 225. And that's a wrap for today's news, because even headlines need a nap. Stay curious, stay kind, and let the noise fade as you find your quiet. Take care, stay awesome, and I'll see you next time on WHAM Today.